Good morning, YouTubers. This is Jennifer Tardy here, and I'm your career success coach, and you are on our Black Career Success YouTube page. And today's topic is 4 times it's acceptable to lie, yes, lie, during the hiring process. And so I bet you're thinking to yourself, now, why in the world would our career success coach tell us that it's acceptable to lie during the hiring process? But I'll explain it to you during this video. Now, at the very end of the video, I'm also going to talk to you about some times when it is completely unacceptable to lie. And so let's just get right into it. The very first thing that I do want to share with you where it's acceptable to actually lie on your resume, this is the resume portion, is your job title. So there are some job titles that are known within just your organization or just your industry. And then there are some job titles that are more known in general. So if you're not looking for a job within that company anymore, or even within that industry, but the most notable job title for the work that you're doing is over here, then it is completely acceptable to use what is recognized on the market, most commonly recognized as your job title. Great example. In one position that I worked in, we worked in the human resources department. But it wasn't called human resources, it was called people services. And so I was a director of people services. Now, in the industry, it's known as a director of human resources. So it was completely acceptable for me to move my job title from the director of people services to the director of human resources, because it ensures that any recruiter who's reading my resume already understands to a degree what it was that I was doing. So it is acceptable to change your job title to what is more recognizable in the industry or in the market that you're in, as long as you've been doing that type of work, those duties for that job title. The next thing is, it is acceptable to lie, yes, I said it again, when you're talking about job duties. Now, it's the same concept. So there was some work that I did as a director of human resources that it may not have been my primary job duty. I may have done it sometimes, but I didn't do it 80% of the time. It's still a job duty that granted me a transferable skill. And if this new position that I'm looking for is asking for that specific skill, well, did I do that work? I sure did. It may not have been the work that I did every single day, and it may not have been the primary job duty that was listed in the job description of my current job, but you better believe that if this job description of the job that I want to go and work in, if that is looking specifically for that skill, that's what you're going to see on my resume. So I did it, but I didn't do it primarily. It probably wasn't even supposed to happen on my job, but I did it, and now I'm going to put it on my resume. The next thing, when you are interviewing, and if a hiring manager is asking you, well, why did you decide to leave? It is not for you to come in and give your whole long story about how you and your manager did not get along, and they didn't like you and you didn't like them, and you felt that your peers were plotting some sort of conspiracy against you. Save it. Save all of that stuff for your diary. Okay? If someone is asking you, why are you interested in this company? Or more specifically, why are you interested in leaving your current employer? Keep it positive and keep it short and keep it simple. So it could be your underlying reason is that you're looking for a new career opportunity. You're looking to be better challenged. Again, if you are in that situation where you are leaving your current employer because you hate them and everything about them, you lie about that to your next employer because they don't need to know all of that information. All they need to know is that you saw a better job opportunity here, one that could challenge you better, maybe even place you in a better environment. All right. And you make sure that you stay focused on that, stay true to that. So again, notice, yes, I said lie, but it's not really lie. It's a different way of thinking about the same thing, a completely different way of thinking about the same thing. So let's move ahead. I told you about when it's acceptable to change some things. Now let's talk about when it is unacceptable. On your actual application, the formal application that you're using when you are applying to a position, you have to be 100% honest in certain areas, specifically areas that you know will get verified. And most companies will verify specific information such as your education. If the job required a certification and you said that you do have a certain certification, they're going to verify that. They're going to verify previous employment. Okay, so make sure that that there is where I would say I could have still put Director of Human Resources, but there I actually put Director of People Services, so it's a lot easier. Most hiring managers are not looking specifically at your application. The people who are looking specifically at your application are the people who are verifying the information that's in it. Most hiring managers and recruiters are looking at your resume. So back to the point at hand. So we've already talked about your employment dates. We've already talked about your education, and we talked about certifications. But the next thing that I would absolutely say, do not lie about, is any thing that could come up in your criminal background check. If you know that you've had a felony in the past, make sure that you put that on your application. And make sure, and I'm always going to give a disclaimer, make sure that you fully read that question, because oftentimes that question will ask you, have you had a felony, not a misdemeanor, not any pending charges. It will ask, have you been convicted of a felony within the last 7 years? If you were convicted of a felony 8 years ago, then you say no. You answer that question specifically the way that it's asked. But make sure that you answer that question, though, because those are the things that companies get verified to do their own due diligence on you. So I hope that this information helps in you and your own job search. I'm interested in knowing what your comments are, so feel free to leave a comment below. If you like this video, you know what I'm going to say. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, and you can find more great information on blackcareersuccess.com. Again, I'm your career success coach. I'm Jennifer Tardy. I'll see you next time.